यथा हि स्कंदशाखानन्तरमूलावसेचनम् एवं आराधनम विष्णु सर्वेषां आत्मनश्च हि. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. When one pours water on the root of a tree, the trunk and the branches of the tree are automatically pleased. Similarly, when one becomes a devotee of Lord Vishnu, everyone is served. For the Lord is the super soul of everyone. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As stated in Padma Purana, Aradhananang sarvesham Vishnu aradhanang param tasmat parataram devi tadyanang samarchanam. Of all types of worship, worship of Lord Vishnu is best. And better than the worship of Lord Vishnu is the worship of his devotee, the Vaishnava. There are many demigods worshipped by people who are attached to material desires. Kamesteste rutagyana prapadyanti anna devataha. Because people are embarrassed by so many material desires, they worship Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Goddess Kali, Durga, Ganesh, Surya to achieve different results. However, one can achieve all these results simultaneously just by worshipping Lord Vishnu, as stated elsewhere in the Bhagavatam, 4th canto. Datha tararmula nisatanenam tripyanti taskanda bhujopasakha prana paharartho rathindriyanam tatheva sarvaranam achyuteja. Just by pouring water, the root of a tree, one nourishes its trunk and all of its branches, fruits and flowers, and just by supplying food to the stomach, one satisfies all the limbs of the body. Similarly, by worshipping Lord Vishnu, one can satisfy everyone. Krishna consciousness is not a sectarian religious movement. Rather, it is meant for all, embracing welfare activities for the world. One can enter this movement without discrimination in terms of caste, creed, religion, or nationality. If one is trained to worship Lord, the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, who is the origin of all Vishnu Tattvas, one can become fully satisfied, perfect in all aspects. Here, Brahma says, when one pours water on the root of tree, the trunk and the branches of the tree are automatically pleased. Similarly, when one becomes the devotee of Lord Vishnu, everyone is served. For the Lord is the super soul of everyone. Jatha taran mula nisatanena tripyanti taskanda bhujopasaka. Prana paharartha tathendriyanam tatheva sarvaranam achyuteja. Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto also says the same thing. Just by pouring water on the root of a tree, one nourishes its trunk and all its branches, fruits and flowers. Just by supplying food to the stomach, one satisfies all the limbs of the body. Similarly, by worshipping Lord Vishnu or Krishna, one can satisfy everyone. If one is trained to worship the Supreme Personal God Krishna, who is the origin of Vishnu Tattva, one can become fully satisfied, perfect in all respects. All Vedic literature, all sadhu, mahajan, Brahma is number one mahajan, after 12 mahajanas, it says. Many places in Srimad Bhagavatam find Brahma statement is the same statement. Only Bhagavan Vishnu and Krishna is to be worshipped. If Bhagavan Vishnu and Krishna will be satisfied, pleased, automatically all will be pleased, satisfied. Jasmin tuste jagat tusta. If Lord Krishna will be satisfied, whole world will be satisfied. Because he is the source of all creation. Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakaranam Karanam. Brahma Samhita says. This Govinda, this Krishna, is the cause of all causes. Is the source of all emanation. Aham sarvasya prabhava. Matta sarvam pravartati iti matta avasanti mang buddha vavasamanata. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says. I am the source of all emanations. He is like the root of the tree. So that Krishna will be worshipped and satisfied, automatically all will be satisfied. No need of worshipping any demigod. Because they are like the twigs, leaves of a tree. His root is Krishna. Jasmin tushti jagat tushta. If Krishna will be satisfied, whole world will be satisfied. Stories there in Mahabharata, will see. Durvasa Muni came with his thousands of disciples to Pandavas when they were staying in the forest. They were banished with Draupadi, their wife. Duryodhana sent Durvasa Muni with that purpose. Durvasa Muni came with thousands of his disciples. The Pandavas are there in the forest, they cannot entertain them. They are in the forest. They cannot entertain. Again, another thing he told. You should go there after 12 o'clock. That means in afternoon. At that time, they cannot entertain them. In the forenoon, they can. Because their wife Draupadi had very wonderful quality. Draupadi cooks and Draupadi distributes food. The pot will never be empty. Always full. As long as Draupadi has not taken food, that's condition. If Draupadi will take food, then she cannot entertain. The pot will be empty. So Draupadi usually takes food at the end. You understand? Feeding one and all. Feeding is for 5 husbands. Then any guests are there, anybody is there. She feeds one and all. At last, she takes food. Then cleanses the pot. After that, if some guest will come, she cannot entertain. And no food. So Duryodhana told, all right, you go and approach them. They are in that forest in the afternoon. So they cannot entertain you. So Durvasa will get angry, will curse them, they'll be, by his curse, they'll burn passes. Finished. Enemy is finished. With this crooked nature, crooked intention, Duryodhana sent. But Pandavas are great devotees, very dear devotees of Lord. Krishna Rakhyati. Krishna always protects his devotees. Kaunteya pradijani name bhakta pranasyati. He has declared that thing through Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. Kaunteya, O son of Kunti, you declare this thing. Beating drums. Name bhakta pranasyati. My devotee will never perish. I'll give him protection. So this has been proclaimed. So Pandavas were great devotees, very dear devotees of Krishna. What a rishi, yogi can do in harm. Cannot do any harm. So Durvasa came. That time Draupadi had already taken food and cleansed the pots, finished. But Dharmaraj Yudhishthir, Dharmaraj very strictly follows the principles of dharma, never deviates. And that is the etiquette of a grihastha. Etiquette. He must invite if a guest comes, he must entertain them, satisfy them, any cost. That's grihastha's duty and etiquette. That's basic etiquette. And Jushti Maharaj doesn't translate it, never debates. He invites, all right, you are guest today with your thousands of disciples. I must entertain you, serve you nicely, and satisfy you. Please go and take your bath and come soon. It's afternoon now. Come soon, because that must be done before the setting of the sun. Otherwise, there will be aparadh. So Durvasa Muni went to take bath nearby spring. There's spring. Nearby spring with thousands of disciples. They are taking bath. So in the meantime, Draupadi was in anxiety. Because this Maharaj will tell Draupadi, bring food for the guest. But Draupadi couldn't give any food. She had already taken his food and cleaned the pot. Then she thought of, who will protect me in this such dangerous situation, critical situation? Only Krishna can protect. Nobody else can. Krishna had already protected many instances. And Draupadi had full faith in Krishna, the dear devotee of Krishna. So she prayed to Krishna, offered her prayer to Krishna, please protect me. This is the situation, critical, dangerous situation I am facing. Krishna came running breathlessly. From Dwarka is coming, running breathlessly, shouting, Draupadi, 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 I am very hungry, give me food. Shouting and running, coming breathlessly. Draupadi told, please listen to me. I won't listen. Give me fast food, then I'll listen. That's my problem. I have no food. No, there must be some food. Go and see. See the cooking pot. There must be some food for me. Definitely. Krishna knows everything. That day, Draupadi had cooked some saag. You understand? So one leaf, only one tiny leaf, was there sticking to the edge of that pot. One tiny leaf, saag leaf, was there. And when Draupadi brought that pot, Krishna saw, oh yes, this food is here. Took up that tiny leaf, just ate it and drank one glass of water. Became so much satisfied, very much satisfied. He said, Draupadi, you fed me so much. My stomach is heavy now. I sleep now. So much satisfied. That's Bhaktavatsala Bhagavan. This Bhagavan, Lord Krishna, is so dear to his devotee. Whatever his devotee gives him, with love and devotion, he accepts it. Much pleasure and satisfied. Patram puspam phalam toyam. Jo me bhaktya prayachati tadunga snam. Bhakti Prabhupada. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said that if someone will offer the one leaf, one flower, one fruit, or some water, with devotion, love and devotion, I accept it. Much pleasure. So he became satisfied that Durvasa Muni with his 1,000 disciples are taking bath. So their stomach were all heavy now. Because now Krishna's stomach is heavy. Taking only one tiny sack leaf. So satisfied. So disciples told their Guru Maharaj, what happened? Wonderful. Our belly is now heavy. We cannot lift ourselves from the water. Then Durvasa, oh, so is the case with me also. Then Durvasa could think of, oh, boy, this Pandavas are Vaishnavas. Oh, Let us go away, go away, go away, run away, run away. He could thought of now how Vishnu Chakra was running, chasing him when he had, what is say, insulted Ambarish Maharaj. He is a Vaishnava. He could remember that. So you will no longer go to now Pandavas. Let us go away. They are running away. This is how. Just mean to stay, Jagat Tushta. The Krishna is satisfied, always satisfied. So many instances are there. And that thing is hinted, is said here. You know, Vedic literature, especially you'll find in many places in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, the essence of all Vedic literature. Bhagavad Mahapurana Sarva Vedanta Sara. The essence of all Vedas, Vedantas. It says, here, Jetu Todiya Charanam Bujakoshagandham Jigranti Karna Vivarei Sudivata Bhaktya Gruhita Charana Parayatsa Tesam Napi Sinata Hudayam Buruhat Supunsang. You understand? This is third canto. Third canto, 395. Third canto, 395. Says this thing. This is also Brahma statement. This is Brahma statement. Brahmaji says, right? Oh Lord, is prayer. Brahma's prayer to Krishna. Oh Lord, your all pure devotees are very much interested in hearing your katha, nectarian katha. That is like nectarian, like nectar, so sweet. And that also like the air blowing, coming out from your lotus feet, carrying very nice, what do you say, aroma of that lotus. You understand? And that those devotees are enjoying that aroma, accepting that aroma through their ears, not through their nose, through their ears. That means the nectarian flow of Krishna Katha is like that. So, their devotees are very much interested to have it. And they have accepted your lotus feet as the only place of taking shelter. Completely, they have surrendered unto your lotus feet. And you never leave the hearts of such devotees. You are always in the hearts of such devotees. Then again, that Brahma says in the third canto, Tam bhakti yoga paribhavita hud sarod asase sutekita patho nanunatha punsang jajjad dhyate urugayo vibhavayanti tattadapapu pranyase sadangrahaya. This is 3:9:11. That is also Brahma's statement. Brahma says, oh Lord, your devotees always see you. Do you understand? Everywhere also. They see always. Everywhere also they see. Wherever they cast their eye and vision, they see your unbeautiful form. And you always, they are in their heart, which is like a fit lotus seat for your seat. Do you understand? So their devotees are always engaged in your loving service, and by your mercy, causeless mercy, they have obtained such bodies favorable for rendering service unto your lotus feet. Do you understand? Every body has his own relationship according to rasa sambandha, dasya, sokhyo, vatsarya, madhurya, like that. So, what is one's relationship? He gets that type of body. By your causeless mercy. You are so merciful to your dear devotee. He says that. Therefore, service rendered to your lotus feet is the highest, is Parama Purusartha, is Supreme Purusartha. Tadastu, but I am deprived of that. I cannot get such thing. Tadastu menatha sabhuri bhago bhavitra natrutuva tarassam. Janaham ekopi bhavajjananang bhuttani sebe tava pada pallavam. This 10th canto. 10th, 14th, 30. This is also prayer offered by Brahma. When Brahma's pride was crushed by Krishna. And Brahma stole cowherd boys and calves. Do you understand? In Vrindavan. To test Krishna. And that is the time. Brahma's pride was crushed. At that time, after that, Brahma offering this prayer. Tadastu menatho saburi bhago bhavitra natratu vatarasang janaham ekopi bhavajjananang bhuttani sebi tava pada pallavam. Brahma says, oh Lord, I don't want this position of Brahma. These cowherd boys, these calves are so dear to you. So dear to you. They are always with you. They are always rendering loving service unto you. I am deprived of that. I don't want this position. Please take away this position, Brahma, from me. You understand? Let me be burned in any inferior spaces. But I have only one prayer, that I will get the association of these dear devotees of yours, cowherd boys and calves. Then I will think myself very fortunate, because in that birth I may be able to get some opportunity to render some service to your lotus feet. Tadabhuri bhagyam iha janma kimapyata tavyang jad gokule api kadamangri rajo abhisekam jad jivitantu nikhilam bhagavan mukunda tudyapi jat padaraja sruti mrigyam eva. This is 10th canto, 10, 14, 34. This is also the statement. Prayer of Brahma. You understand? Brahma says, up till now, they all Vedas, Shrutis. Shruti means Veda. All Vedas are searching the dust from your lotus feet. Searching out dust from your lotus feet. You understand? But I cannot get such dust. So if I will take some bath here, in this Brajabhumi, in this jungle of Vrindavan, then I may be able to get such dust. This is my prayer. Then I'll be able to render some service, loving service unto your lotus feet. Purpose is there. Because that is the supreme goal of our life. To render loving service unto the lotus feet of Krishna. Brahma says, in this birth, I cannot get it. But this is the desire of my heart. How can I fulfill that desire? Ah. In this very birth of Brahma, it is unobtainable, not obtainable. Therefore, now I am not interested all my this opulence, all this exalted position of mine. I give up all these things now. How can I take a bath of the dust of your dear devotees? Then I'll get such fortune. So I am thinking like that. In this very birth of Brahma, if I request those Brajajanas to give me the dust, they won't give me. They won't give me. If I'll get your mercy and will be born as a herb or grass here in this jungle of Brajbhumi, in this Vrindavan, then I'll be able to get some dust from the feet of your dear devotees, Brajvasis. And the Shrutis, the Vedas also, are always searching that dust. Because one should serve the lotus feet of Krishna under the guidance of Brajajanas, Brajvasis, because they are dear devotees, very dear devotees of Krishna. You understand? Hoibo Borojavas. When that fortune will come, that I will become a resident of Brajabhumi. That is the prayer. This also again you'll find in 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam 10:47-61. This is Uddhava's prayer. Asamaho charana renu jasamaham swang vrindavani kimapi gurmalato sadhinang jadustijam swajanang arja padhancha hitva bhejur mukunda padabing sudhi bhir mrugyan. Is Uddhava's prayer. You know Uddhava? Who is he? Yes. This is dear devotee of Krishna. Uddhava is in Dwarka. You understand? Uddhava looks like Krishna. Very dear. So Krishna sent Uddhava to Gopa, Brajbhumi. Because Krishna left Brajbhumi, came to Mathura. You understand? Then return. Then Dwarka like this. So, sent Uddhava to Mathura and say, Brajbhumi, Gopa, you go, meet my dear devotees, gopis, and give me this message. He sent a letter. You understand? Uddhava came. When Uddhava saw the love of the gopis, he was so much amazed. And he thought, oh, so dear devotees of Krishna. Love is so intense, so pure love they have developed. Every moment, not for a moment, they are forgetting Krishna. Every moment they are thinking of Krishna, feeling the pangs of separation from Krishna. You understand? Uddhava was first, he had bhakti, but that bhakti is mixed bhakti, jnana mishra bhakti, mixed with knowledge, is not pure bhakti. So purposefully, Krishna sent Uddhava to Brajbhumi to change his bhakti, jnana mishra to pure bhakti, kevala bhakti. Because when he will come in contact with the gopis, this will be possible. Otherwise not possible. Uddhava is so dear to the lotus feet of Krishna. They leave their family members, their husband, their home, everything, and run to the jungle of Vrindavan. Isn't it? Even Vedic etiquette, they transgressed. Vedic etiquette. Veda dharma, you see. Huh? A chaste wife, you see, cannot transgress this Vedic etiquette, cannot leave her husband, her family members, her household, and go to another male person. But they did it. They transgressed this Vedic etiquette because they have developed soul, pure love towards Krishna. This is how. Even they give up all these things, they transgress all this. If I can get some dust from their lotus feet, then my life will be successful. I think myself to be very fortunate. But I have to beg, please give me some dust. They won't give me. They won't give me. So what shall I do? Then Buddha was thinking of, if I'll be born here as a blade of grass here, some herb here, some plants here, then I'll be able to get some dust from the lotus feet. So in this birth, I cannot get it. So next birth, he prays for the next birth. Let me be born here as a blade of grass here, or a plant or herb here in this jungle of Vrindavan. So when these gopis were wandering here, searching Krishna, feeling pangs of separation from Krishna, they are quite mad at that time. So by chance, their feet will touch me. So I'll get some dust from their feet. So my life will be successful. Do you understand? My life will be successful. So he offers us prayer. Because the gopis are very dear devotees. They love Krishna with pure love. Pure love. So that is our prayer. How can we get such love? Do you understand? Gopi bhava anugatya. How can you develop gopi bhav? Gopi bhav in us. Do you understand? That is the aim. That is goal of our life. And Krishna is only served by that bhav. And Mahaprabhu's teaching also like that. Mahaprabhu taught that. Aradhya Bhagavan Brajas Panaya Tadham Ramya Kachid Upasana Brajabadhur Gin Dakata. That Mahaprabhu says. Brajabadhus, themselves are Brajabhuni. Do you understand? Offered worship, served Krishna. And what love. Do you understand? What mood. That love is needed to offer worship at the lotus feet of Krishna. Then Krishna will be very much pleased. Do you understand? That is bhava, gopi bhava. And that's Mahaprabhu's teaching. Do you understand? So Uddhava now aspires for that. How can I develop that bhava? Unless I get dust from the lotus feet of that gopis. I cannot develop such bhava. So let me have it. Let me take another bath here. In this bath it is not possible. They won't give me that dust. So he aspires for the next bath here in Vrindavan, jungle of Vrindavan, as a blade of grass, or a herb, or a plant here. This is how. That means to serve the lotus feet of Krishna in Gopi Bhav is the highest perfection in life. That it says. So Krishna is only to be served in that bhav. Again, Uddhava's prayer also there. Tathata ananda dugham padambujam hansa swayerannara bindalochana sugham visvesara yoga karma bhi stanmayayami bihita bihata namanina. 11th canto. 11:29, 3. This is also Uddhava's statement. Uddhava says to Krishna. This Uddhava says to Krishna here. Uddhava says, O lotus-eyed Krishna, O Vishveshwara, master of the whole Vishwa, universe, O Bhaktavatsala, very dear to the devotees, your lotus feet is the only place where everyone to take shelter. And the devotees, those who have taken shelter at your lotus feet, they are in extreme pleasure and happiness. Do you understand? They are always testing the nectar coming out from your lotus feet. Those who have not taken shelter at your lotus feet, those who trade the path of yoga or karma, they are captured by your Trigunamai Maya and are suffering and suffering and suffering. Therefore, I want to take complete shelter at your lotus feet and serve your lotus feet. In that mood of the gopis. Do you understand? I don't want dharma, artha, kama, mukya, anything else. Na kamayi anyam tadapada sevanada kinchana prarthyattamad varam vibho aradhya kastvang hyapavargadam hare brunita arjyo varamatma bandhanam. 10th canto again. I don't want anything else. Purport is there. One who is a dear devotee of Krishna, he never asks for anything else than the loving service unto the lotus feet of Krishna. That is Mahaprabhu Sikh also. Nandanam, nandanam, na sundarim kapitamba, jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanisware bhavata bhakti raheti. Same thing. I don't want dhana, wealth, material followers, jana, don't want beautiful women to enjoy, don't want liberation. Only life after life, I want to serve your lotus feet with love. Bhavata bhakti raheti. That's Muchikanda's prarthana also. Do you understand? In this we will find many places in Srimad Bhagavatam, this has been said, how only Krishna is the lotus feet of Krishna is to be served. Sarva Sebhya. Do you understand? Therefore it's Aradhananang Sarvesam Vishnu Aradhanam. That my Guru Maharaj quoted from Padma Purana. Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadyanang Samarchanam. Of all types of worship of Lord Vishnu is best. And better than the worship of Lord Vishnu is the worship of his devotees, the Vaishnavas. Therefore Uddhava, you say Uddhava here, Muchikanda here, Brahma also here. They want the lotus feet, the dust from the lotus feet of the dear devotees of Krishna, that is gopis. That is confirmed in many places. Because that is the supreme goal of life. You understand? Supreme perfection of life. You understand? Otherwise, life is finished. No value in such life. No value in such life if one doesn't render such loving service unto the lotus feet of Krishna under the guidance of a such devotee who has developed your love unto. This is what Bhagavad says in many places. So this verse also speaks the same thing. Same thing. So in his purport, my revered spiritual master very clearly says here, all types of worship Lord Vishnu is best, Better than the worship of Lord Vishnu, the worship of his devotee, the Vaishnava. And again at the end of his purport says, if one is trained to worship Supreme Personality God Krishna, who is the origin of Vishnu Tattva, and can become fully satisfied, perfect in all respects. Yes. Maharaj. Stay Jagat Krishna. Maharaj. Yes. Hmm. That's a nice story. Hmm. Hmm. And one who is a dear devotee of Vishnu or Krishna is very dear to all demigods because they are automatically pleased, automatically worshipped, no need of sweat worship. Tadhatara Mula Nishatanena, that was. Prasada Pakyan is also there. Prasadas are going to undergo severe penance austerities to please Lord Vishnu, under the instruction of their father. So Lord Shiva came, he is a Vaishnava. Vaishnavananda Sasambha came up and said, oh, you are going. So I am very pleased with you. You are going to be worship, pleased Vishnu. So I am very pleased with you. Lord Shiva said, and gave instruction. Rudra Gita is there, fourth canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. Something, Rudra Gita is there. Lord Shiva says, these are, you offer such prayer. Okay? Oh, that Shiva becomes so much pleased with the Prasada because they are going to worship Lord Vishnu. Keep an answer. Why the devotees will be dissatisfied? No question at all. No question. They are very satisfied. So those Bhagavati Alpamedasa, those are no intelligence, Alpamedasa, little intelligence, no intelligence, they offer worship to demigods. Get some temporary results. No.
But if they continue serving the demigods, can they someday come to do this?
Demigods are like the leaves, twigs of tree. You understand? Taran Mulan is Satanam. Krishna is the root of the Vedic tree. Everything. Demigods are like leaves. If you pour water at the root, automatically the twigs, branches, twigs, leaves, fruits, flowers, they get it. No separate sprinkling of water. An intelligent person, he pours water on the tree. So those who are unintelligent, they sprinkle water on the leaves, trees, branches. Intelligent gives food to the stomach. So automatically our body is nourished. Isn't it? Yeah? If you want to give food to the stomach, give food separately to ear, to the eye, to the nose, to hands or legs, the whole body will be weak. Isn't it? There's a story. Once there was a quarrel. You understand? There was a quarrel between the stomach and all other limbs of the body. Hands, legs, ear, eye, nose, etc. That's quarrel. They said that this stomach is not doing anything, all sitting idle. We are all working very hard and supplying food to giving food to the stomach. But it's only eating and sitting and sleeping, not doing anything. So we stop supply. We won't supply. You understand? So they didn't supply. So that means they're non-cooperated. It's a question of non-cooperate. They non-cooperated with the stomach. So after a few days, they find they become weak. Weak and weaker and weaker. The hand cannot move, the leg cannot walk, the ear cannot hear, the sea cannot see clearly, the mouth cannot speak. So weak they feel. Then they could realize, oh, really is doing much work. And we are so foolish, we non-cooperated. So they could realize this thing. So from that day, they said, oh, you will never non-cooperate. Fully cooperate with the stomach. Because it gives us energy. Similarly, Krishna is like that. In the root of the tree. Gives energy, is energetic. It gives energy to another. If you non-cooperate with Krishna, then you'll devoid of energy. You understand? So cooperate. This is a question of cooperation. That means Krishna should be worshipped and Krishna should be satisfied. Then automatically all are worshipped, all are satisfied. Even the world is satisfied. That's means puste jagat pusta. That story, Draupadi story. Yes. You understand? Draupadi knows it very well. Only one tiny leaf, sack leaf, she gave. And Krishna was so satisfied. His belly is so heavy. Stomach of Durvasa Muni, thousands of disciples, all the belly, stomach filled, heavy. They couldn't lift themselves from the water. It was so heavy. You see, amazing. You understand? That's means to stay Jagat Pusta. If Krishna is satisfied, all will be satisfied. Therefore, we are engaged in rendering lovely service unto Krishna. Only Krishna is to be worshipped. Only Krishna is to be satisfied. That's finished. No more, nothing else. Automatically, all are satisfied, all are pleased. That's
Maharaj, you can see that Lord is very merciful because many people are not cooperating with God, and still there are so many nice things going on.
yes, Isrudam Sarvabhutanam. He says, I am the only well-wishing friend. Isruda. He is very merciful. Karuna Sindhu is the ocean of mercy. Yes. Still, many are not cooperating, not perceiving. Still, he teaches them good lesson. Thereby, they will take to this path. That is his mercy. That is his mercy. You understand? Yes, that is mercy. And one who is intelligent, he can understand it. He can understand it. One who is unintelligent, a rascal, he cannot understand. He will suffer again and again. Again and again. Life after life. But Krishna's arrangement is such arrangement, merciful arrangement. Maya is giving losses. Severe, more severe losses. Till one has not turned his face towards Krishna. She is giving. Maya is doing thankless job. One has forgotten Krishna, so is captured by Maya. So he's fallen here, in this prison house created by Maya, and has been suffering for lakhs of lives. Lakhs. You understand? Maya is giving losses. Till he has not turned his face towards Krishna. That's Mame Vade Prapadyante Maya Me Tam Taranti. At last, when he can understand, yes, that Vasudevam Sarvam Iti Samahatma Sudam, Vasudeva is everything. Then he takes shelter with Vasudeva, turns his face towards Vasudeva. Then Vasudeva Krishna is master of Maya, Maya Dhisha. Then he'll order Maya, now Maya, you set him free now. Then jail door is open, door of the prison house now open now. Maya said, go, now you're free now. Otherwise, Maya won't leave you.
So as soon as we surrender to Krishna, even though in this material world,
Yes.
Maya can lift us.
Yes, he is not one. wherever he may be, devotee. As you say, Narayana Parasabena Kutasana Vidvati, Surga Papagandhara Kesu Pitulyat Prasina. Those are Narayana Para. Those who have completely taken shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Narayana. That's that only one duty they have, to serve the lotus feet of Lord Narayana. They see every place is equal. The Swarga, the heaven, the Narka, the hell, even Apavarga, the Brahman apostles. They see everything equal. How is it equal? Where is Swarga, where is Narka? Heaven and hell. The Brahman apostles. How is it equal? Because they are only engaged in the service of the lotus feet of Lord Narayana. Wherever they may be in Swarga, in Narka, in Brahman, they only serve the lotus feet of Lord Narayana. So Narayana must be there. Where there is Narayana, that is Vaikuntha. That's not neither Swarga nor hell nor Brahman. That's equal. That's it. It's like that. Maybe in material, what is that? It's not material world for him. It's Vaikuntha. Lord Narayana is there. It's Vaikuntha. You understand? Yes. But those who are not serving, not taken shelter of Lord Narayana, is hell for them. Is hell, material world, miserable place for them, not for a devotee. Not for a devotee. So, yes.
As you said, Buddha, when we satisfy Krishna, all are satisfied.
Yes.
Means it seems to be very science. Because I think Krishna is always present, everywhere present as Paramatma.
Yeah.
So when we satisfy Krishna, all will be satisfied.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
So this is the science and
The spiritual science. Yes. And this is a fact.
yeah.
It's not theoretical. It's fact. It's a fact. That is.
It's present everywhere.
Narrated that story of Draupadi, satisfied. Durvasa, thousands of disciples, all their bellies were heavy, became heavy. Why? Only one tiny leaf Krishna took and was satisfied. The story is there in Mahabharata. And that's a fact. Jiver Swarupa hoy Krishna Nitya Das. That is your Swarup, that's your real identity, that you are eternal servant of Krishna. Serve Krishna and satisfy him, then automatically. And he is the root of the tree, like the root. Pour water root. That's the sense. That's fact. If Krishna is not satisfied, you cannot satisfy anybody. You cannot satisfy anybody. All are dissatisfied. In material world, you cannot satisfy anybody. No. Because he has unlimited material desires. Unlimited material desires. Nonsense. His desires will not be fulfilled. If you try to fulfill some desires of your father, your mother, your wife, something, still he is dissatisfied. No. This thing is required. This thing is required. You have not done so. You have to get more dissatisfied. If you satisfy Krishna, everything finished. Yes. Very easy way. Avoiding Krishna. If you want to satisfy it, try your best to satisfy it. Your family members, your countrymen, or whatever friends, you cannot. It cannot. Only satisfy Krishna. Then automatically, everything, all are satisfied. Most important.
As you said yesterday, we are committing sins every time. If we don't be Krishna, servant Krishna, at last we have to suffer. We have to suffer.
What again? Say.
We are committing always sin in this material world, unless we offenses. Unless we serve Krishna and surrender ourselves unto Krishna's lotus feet, or his representatives, spiritual masters' lotus feet, So we have to suffer. We have to be face the consequences. That's why we have to go Jampur. Jamaraja say about it. There, my question is, where are we going to get some bodies there? Some kind of bodies?
Jatana Sarir. Otherwise, how can you get punishment if there is no body? You understand? That is mentioned there in fifth canto. It's all mentioned. When this gross body dies, soul doesn't die. Soul has no birth, no death. But this gross body dies. Even the subtle body never dies. As long as you are in this material world, moving in different spaces, the subtle body never dies. Subtle body dies only when it crosses Viraja and goes to Vaikuntha. Otherwise, it never dies. You understand? So, when this gross body dies, the soul moves with the subtle body. The Jamadutas, do you understand? The sinful person, Jamadutas come and take that sinful person to the abode of Jamara. They take what? They take that soul in the subtle body. Subtle body. It's subtle. They take it. You understand? There at Rama's abode, a body, a gross body is supplied there. That's known as Jatana Sarir. The body in which you will get punishment. Yeah. Jatana Sarir. Yes. They get. You understand? Fifth canto Bhagavatam, detailed descriptions are there. For which sin, what narka, what hell is there, and how one suffers. All detailed description is there in fifth canto. Srimad Bhagavatam. Detailed description. All right, thank you.